Hello, everybody. This is Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast, Book Edition. And today we are talking with Steve Vernon, who wrote Trivia for Seniors A to Z. Steve, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good to see you, Marianne.
It's good to see you as well. I have a copy of your book. I absolutely love it. Tell
Great.
people what this book is.
Well, it grew out of my experience working at a senior living center here in Tampa, where I started. It's totally a fluke how it came about, but I started doing trivia, weekly trivia with some of the seniors, and it grew into a weekly event called Light Bites and Trivia. We would start at 11:30 on Saturday morning, and we do about 3 rounds of trivia, 10 questions each round. And then we'd serve a light lunch. So the event would last about an hour and a half. It became one of the most popular and consistently attended events, activities in the whole building, in the whole community. I ran normally between about 15 and 20 people. It would be divided up in 4 to 5 tables, sometimes 6 tables of 4 each, and they would each be a team. And the teams would compete against each other for that day, and whoever won for that day, whatever team came up with the most points for that day would get a prize.
Nice.
The fun part was I was also the bartender. We had a full service bar at the senior living community where I worked, and I was the bartender. And so our main prize was they would get the winning team. Each person on the team would get a voucher for a free cocktail at the bar. And if they didn't drink or couldn't drink, they could get sodas or whatever. But anyway, it was a fun event. So anyway, but after I left that job about 2 years ago, and I was looking back over my files one day, and I thought, my gosh, I've got enough trivia here that I could put together a book. And I also knew through my contacts, through the work, that activities directors simply did not have time to do the work that I would do. I'd put in like 3 to 4 hours a week putting together trivia for an hour and a half event, because I would research all the questions and make sure everything is right and all that stuff. And I know activities directors don't have that kind of time to put together, these kind of events.
Right.
Trivia is also a very popular activity, and people love it. And it's a great way to keep senior minds alive.
Oh, yeah.
And
Those neurons firing. It's really good.
yeah, exactly. In fact, I had some of my residents have asked me several times, couldn't we do this more than once a week? I'm like, oh, no, I don't have that time. I'm only part-time, but I don't have enough time in the day to put together, 2 events a week, much less one. So anyway, I worked on several months. I started gathering all the material, going through it, cleaning it up, and putting together the books and the book, and ended up with this, a self-published on Amazon, and this is the result. And you'll see it's a good size. It's a good size book. You've got a
It
copy.
is. I have a copy of it. It's right up
Yeah.
there.
It's about 2,300 questions arranged in rounds of 10 questions each. The questions are I've organized it so the questions are on one side, and you just flip the page over, and the answers are right there. So an activities director can take the book, and if they don't want to take out the whole book, they just photocopy a page and flip it over and copy that page, and they've got their trivia for the week.
Nice.
Very simple, all
Nice.
organized, everything. Also, another unique thing that I did with this book is you'll notice the questions are here. I don't know if you can see that. The questions are here. You flip over, and it's not just questions and answers. Underneath every answer, I've got notes explaining that answer and a link at the end of that answer where they can go to a website where the source of that answer is, so they can get more information. They can confirm that answer and get more information about that question. So it's an educational book as much as it is anything.
That's a lot of work you did.
Yeah, months of work putting
I would
this
say, how
together.
long did it take you to write the book?
Well, the writing of it was mostly there already, because I did that weekly anyway with my residents.
Okay.
And I would always have information about that question anyway, so we a lot of times we would discuss those questions afterwards. So it left room for a discussion, and they love to do that. Not all the time, but there are times we might want to discuss that. So I had that information there, but I always research the answers because one of the things I found out when I was putting this together is there an awful lot of trivia out there online and in books that's just simply not right.
Right.
And I will admit, going through this book afterwards, going back through and editing it, I found a couple of errors myself, which, that's going to happen. Anytime you're writing a book, you're going to find answers, find questions. But the nice thing about publishing it on Amazon, I could easily make that correction and reload a new manuscript. And it's up and running. The new manuscript's up and running the next day.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's just beautiful. So it's as correct as I can possibly imagine it being.
I've had a few authors that I'll be reading their book and I'll find an error. And luckily they publish on demand. And I'm like, hey, you got a misspelling here, and I don't want to be a spelling Nazi, but it's just something I've always been always good at my entire life. And lucky I knew the author well enough that they weren't offended when I told them this.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, I'll fix that right now and upload it,
Yeah.
And
anytime anybody finds an error in my book, I'd love the feedback on it. Because that's 470 pages. I can't go through that over and over again, make sure everything is correct.
Right.
Absolutely correct.
Right.
So
all right.
It's been a fun process.
And I would imagine not only activity directors, but also people such as just groups of friends that want to be able to utilize it and stuff like that, or even bars or restaurants that want to bring in older crowds, like one night a week, maybe say senior night. That would be good for them to have as well.
Yeah, local clubs.
Right. Senior citizen homes. I mean, not homes, but group.
Yeah.
Senior citizen.
Well, like any kind of community group or club or anything like that. A church group, church groups, church senior groups, whatever.
Right.
All kinds of groups out there that might do regular activities. And so it's all organized. So the person who's organizing, they don't have to do any work. All the work's done for you. All you have to do is pull out a page and use it, and it's there.
All right. Well, Steve, I commend you on doing this. It's a great project. It's a great book. Guys, like I said, I have a copy of it. It's up there on my shelf. I've had it for a little while now, over probably a year now.
Yeah, I think I remember when you bought it.
Yeah. And so moving forward, you also wrote another book that we're going to do another podcast about on that book. So you'll be able to see that as well. That is the Ultimate Classic Trivia A to Z.
Right.
And then Steve, moving forward, you're also working on a sports one, right?
Right. That will be several months down the line because that's an awful lot of work, because I'm doing every sport that I can think of, and there'll be a chapter on each.
Now, see, so Steve's got it going on. So for all your needs, just follow the purchase link and you'll be able to purchase it, and it'll come to your door really fast from Amazon, and you'll be playing trivia before you know it.
And by the way, both books are available in paperback and in Kindle.
Okay.
Kindle version.
All right. Follow the link and hook up with Steve on his book there. So, Steve, thank you so much for talking to us about your book.
Thank you, Marianne.
Definitely appreciated it.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.